America is the greatest country in the world. I know I fought for it, and now I'm fighting for fellow veterans.
I'm Dwayne Kimball, owner and founder of KMD 89,
making YouTube videos to simplify the VA disability compensation claims process.
Don't be frustrated, get educated.
Let me educate you on the claims process, and together we can educate other veterans.
Hello, my name is Dwayne Kimball, owner and founder of KMD 89, a VA claims consultant, Leave No Vet Behind, and also I'm United States Army veteran. Today, I'm bringing another video, but today I have a special guest, Liz, and the topic for the discussion for today is going to be Social Security and VA disability compensation. And we're going to find out if those can have an impact. Well, VA service connection can have an impact on Social Security. So again, my special guest today is Liz. Liz, welcome. Thank you. And thank you for doing this interview. So welcome all my subscribers out there. I'm pretty sure leave a lot of comments about Social Security. So thanks for doing this interview.
Well, you're welcome. And thank you, Dwayne, for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah, my name is Liz Montefiore. I'm the owner and founder of Montefiore Consulting. We've been here in the Tampa area since 2008, helping people with their Social Security, disability, and SSI claims. So we're looking forward to getting to share a little bit with you and how the VA benefits interact with those Social Security claims.
Right, and I know we had met. I think it's been what, about 3 years since we met, something like that. Yeah. And then we did a presentation, and then we reached out this summer. It was like, hey, we need to do another presentation. Then I was like, okay, well, we could bring some more people in, and been asking some individuals. So hopefully we can do something in person here in the Tampa Bay area. I think we tried to target maybe February, March or something next year. So definitely be on the lookout. We'll have Liz talking about Social Security. I'll be talking about VA disability compensation. Another individual that Liz met on another platform that, we're friends. He's a 2-time kidney recipient, so he'll come on and he'll talk about kidney disease. Another individual talking about VA home loan, mortgages, and maybe try to get a mental health professional to come in and talk about, PTSD and different mental health diagnoses under that most veterans claim under the VA claims process. So Liz, we're going to go ahead and get into the Q&A for our subscribers this evening. So let's start with, what are the different types of Social Security? I know what Social Security is, but I hear there's a couple of different types. Can you give us the name of those types and give us a small explanation?
Sure. Yeah, there's 2 different types of benefits that people can apply for under the Social Security Disability Program. The first one is Social Security Disability Insurance, or SSDI. You may have heard of that. That is the benefit that people pay into as they work through their FICA taxes. So anybody who's worked and paid into the system can become eligible for that benefit if they meet the program criteria. So basically what that means is if you worked 5 out of the last 10 years before you became disabled and paid into the system for 5 out of the last 10 years, then you should have enough quarters to be able to qualify if you were working full time for 5 out of those last 10 years. So that'll get you eligible for the program. The other benefit is called SSI, or Supplemental Security Income. That's the means tested portion of the Social Security program. So what that means is you have to have limited income and resources in order to qualify financially to apply for those benefits. So for a single person, $2,000 right now is the maximum that you can have in any given month between income and resources. And for a married couple, it's $3,000. So it's quite a low threshold that you're allowed to have as far as income and resource to qualify for that particular benefit. That benefit pays out right now this year at $841 maximum per month here in the state of Florida. Other states vary slightly. For 2023, that's going to go up to $914 a month. So that again is that's for people who don't have enough quarters to qualify for SSDI, or perhaps they do qualify for SSDI, but their benefit rate is so low, is under the maximum for SSI, that 841 number. So then they could apply for both and then draw benefits from both programs if they meet the financial criteria.
So what I'm hearing you saying, there's an instance where you can apply for both and receive compensation from SSI and SSDI.
Right. That happens in situations where someone has a very low earnings history. So their payment for SSDI would be under the SSI maximum of 841 per month.
Okay. Now I heard you mention quarters.
hmm
Uh, Define quarters.
Yeah, quarters of coverage is 20. This is the 2040 rule. Some people have heard of that. There's 20 quarters in 5 years because every year has 4 quarters. So what you want to do is make sure that if you're filing for Social Security disability, your earnings have to be consistent for 5 out of the last 10 years or 20 out of the last 40 quarters. So Social Security will look at your earnings history by quarter to make that determination.
So you can't have a break in employment. And if you have a, is that what you mean? You can't have a break
Oh,
like,
there could be a break. You
okay.
could have worked maybe 2 years or a break. Sometimes during the pandemic, people, of course, were off 6 months, a year. There could be a break, and then now they're back on earnings. So there, as long as it's 5 within the last 10 years, so there could be a break in there, but it has to total up to 20 quarters out of that 40 quarter time period.
Okay. Now I heard you give the dollar amount for SSI.
hmm
SSDI, is there a different amount for
There
individuals? I'm assuming
is.
that it is based on their employment or how long they work.
Exactly right. It's based on what they paid into the system personally. Yeah.
Okay. And how can they get that information? I know I used to get this form like every 5 years, and it would say, hey, if you apply for SSI, this is this amount. If you apply for SSDI, this is this amount. And the SSDI was always considerably higher. Is there a place on the can they go, can an individual go to the Social Security Administration's website and get that information?
Absolutely. It's www.ssa.gov, and there will be a tab to click on called My Social Security. And you want to click on that tab, and it'll walk you through setting up an account where you would plug in your Social Security number, create your own personal secure password, and you'll have access to all the information that was on those statements they used to mail to us. It's all available online.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that, Liz.
Sure.
Now, have you worked with many veterans in the past that came, and said, "Hey, I'm a veteran and I want to apply for SSI or SSDI"?
Yes. We have.
Okay. Now, when the veterans come to you and they say, "Hey, I'm receiving compensation from the Department of Veterans Affairs for injuries that I sustained while on active duty," does that service connection or the injuries that they sustained while on active duty, they're getting paid for monthly from Department of Veterans Affairs, the VA. Can that help, or does it have some type of impact on whoever that adjudicator is approving that claim? Or does, mainly does, if I say, hey, I'm a Joe Doe veteran and I'm 100% considered 100% disabled through the Department of Veterans Affairs, and I want to file with SSDI and or SSI, does it interact, or could it help, or could it not help?
Right. Well, there's kind of two facets to that question. There's a financial aspect and the medical aspect. So you asked about the medical aspect first. Yeah, regulation states that the Social Security adjudicators are not bound by any decision of another agency, such as the VA or workers' comp, state agency, something like that. However, they are required to consider the findings of that agency as well as the basis for those findings. So there is no guarantee, for example, if you have a 100% VA rating, that you're going to automatically be able to get a favorable Social Security ruling. The reason for that is because the definition of disability under Social Security is quite different than it is under VA.
Okay. Now, I heard you say it would income. If a single veteran, I think right now, single veteran is the 100%. We'll just use that scenario: 100% service connected with the Department of Veterans Affairs. I think it's around maybe 3,100, almost 3,200.
Hmm.
That dollar amount will impact if they try to apply for both, especially the SSI,
Right.
based on the scenario you gave earlier, correct?
Correct. Yeah, if they're receiving that kind of money from VA, then that's unearned income that will be counted against them in an SSI scenario. So they would not qualify. That would exceed resources to be able to qualify for the SSI. Under Social Security disability, the SSDI, there would be no offset or no impact. So someone can receive the VA benefit and also file for Title II Social Security disability insurance.
Okay. So the when a veteran comes and he says, "Hey, Liz, I want to file for SSDI," it goes to, I heard you say adjudicator. It goes to adjudicator first for them to make a decision.
Right. There's two levels that are all paperwork intensive, and they are performed at the Disability Determination Services offices throughout the state of Florida. So they gather all the medical evidence, they gather statements from the client. They're asked to fill out paperwork as part of the process, of course, functional reports outlining what they're able to do, what they can no longer do because of their impairments. And they also will send out forms to them to give to third parties. That's really important. Someone who lives with them or near them that has regular contact with them that can also give Social Security their observation of the veterans' limitations and restrictions. Now, here's what I observe about their ability to stand, walk, use their arms, have mental health issues, whether that be focusing, concentrating, anxiety, PTSD symptoms, whatever that might be. To get a third-party source is very important, in addition to all of the other paperwork that's requested from Social Security from the vets.
Okay, so third party information that could be spouse, another family member, doctor, neighbor, anyone like that, correct?
Usually not the doctor, because the doctor will get medical records specifically from the providers, but for the third party statement, they're looking from friends, neighbors, yes, relatives, someone who sees them on a day-to-day basis that can comment on observations of just daily living and activities that they're involved in day to day.
Okay. So I've heard individuals say they had to go before a judge.
Mhm.
So have you had a veteran that, had to go before a judge, and did the judge reference that veteran's service connected disabilities through the VA?
Absolutely. Yeah. The first two levels, like I said, are adjudicators that are paper only. Most people get denied at those first two levels, which most people have heard about that. It's pretty well known that you'll get denied the first couple times in most cases, especially if you're under age 50. So we're gathering evidence, we're preparing the case to go before the judge. But yes, the judge has to consider all the evidence. They will reference the VA rating. They'll want to know the components of that rating and which impairments equal which part of that 100%, break it down. So we'll do that for them. Getting VA's records is very important to make sure that we have all the rating information so that the judge can see specifically what the 100% or what the percent might be, whatever that's based on.
Hmm.
So one thing I always tell my clients when you're seeing your doctor is to be sure that they are recording your specific reported symptoms every time you go. We've seen case after case where they'll go to the doctor, they'll say, "Hey, how you doing today?" "Oh, he says he's feeling better. He's feeling fine today."
Mm,
General comments like that can be very destructive to a case because they don't reflect the true nature of what's going on. Sure, you might be better today because you're having a good day. But if 5 out of your 7 days per week are bad days, that's not going to be a reflection of what's really going on day to day.
right.
So it's
Right.
important to really record with your doctor. Make sure he's recording in the notes specifics as to what's going on day to day with you.
Okay. Well, and that leads me to another question. In your experience, all the years you've been doing this, what I'm hearing you saying, a paper trail.
hmm
How long does that paper trail need to be?
Well, Social Security typically will review evidence for 1 year prior to the date you file if it's an SSDI claim, and same for SSI as well. Um, so that's usually what I recommend. If there's a significant event that's causing current disability that happened beyond that previous year, then we'll go ahead and try to request those records as well. So that's typically what you're going to find. The paper trail from other evidence like third-party statements, if someone had school records that show they had issues in school, with learning or other mental issues while they were minors, we're going to want to get those records too. So again, those are outside of that year. So again, it's a very specific case-to-case situation.
Oh, okay. And before we wrap up, what is the normal wait times for these? I guess if you can't get approved through the adjudicators, I know you said the two levels, below levels. How long is that particular time frame?
Right now, since the pandemic actually has gotten very slow with these first two levels, it's 6 months to 9 months sometimes before we even get a decision out of them at these levels. So we take that time to gather up all the evidence we can, get statements from the doctors, whatnot, so that we can get everything submitted as early in the process as possible. After that first denial, there's a 60-day period in which you appeal it. And then the second decision usually comes out a little bit quicker, usually within 2 to 3 months. And then if that's a denial, then there's another 60-day period for appeal, and then you request your hearing. Hearings right now are being scheduled within about 3 to 4 months of when they're requested. It's much quicker than it used to be.
Okay. So it's a lot faster than the VA. I have a lot of veterans. They say, "Oh, I had to wait 3 months." And I'm like, I had to wait 1 year
Right.
for my first one. But the VA is it sounds like the VA is. I think what I've been seeing, the VA is catching up with some of those wait times, and lining up with Social Security. But Liz, I definitely appreciate you taking the time to do this. And I've heard other individuals talk about Social Security. And every time I talk to someone about Social Security, I learn something. So I hope a lot of veterans, look at this, and especially veterans that are, maybe at that age, or just veterans thinking about file a claim for especially SSDI. So just wrapping up, can you give us, I want you to talk about your contact information if someone wanted to enlist your services, because you are certified to represent individuals before Social Security, correct?
Right. I'm what's called an appointed representative. Yes. So I am able to do that. My phone number is 813-495-8787. Or you can reach me by email. It's just liz@montefieuconsulting.com. That's our company name.
Montefieu is spelled Montefu.
Correct.
Montefu. So again, thank you, Liz, and I'm definitely looking forward to next year. Hopefully, we can
Yes.
get this coordinated with some other individuals, maybe doing in person here in the Tampa Bay area. So once we get that coordinated, I definitely will be letting all of my subscribers know and other veterans know, maybe in the Tampa Bay area, to come out and get this information. So thanks again, Liz, and really appreciate
All
you
right.
doing this interview.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right.